Before I go along with this video, I just want to answer one question. Why am I making this video? Short answer, I'm bored. Long answer, it's a little more complicated. You see, Omori is my third favorite game of all time, and my favorite story of all time. When we see a story that resonates with us extremely, and characters that we fall in love with, just simply liking the story is not enough to satisfy us. We begin to want to do more with the story. At first, it starts with wanting to talk to other people about the game and then share your interests. Then, it proceeds into things like changing aspects of your online persona, whether it be a simple line in your About Me, or character description detailing your love for the game, or maybe just a phone lock screen. If your love for a game is still burning after things like that, typically we begin wanting to do more things with the game, whether that be in the form of making art or animatics, or just making videos. And for me, my love for the game takes the form of videos. And when we love characters so much, and especially blank slate characters like Sunny, we begin to more or less assign them characteristics and thought processes that we think the character should possess, be it in specific moments in time or all the time. And naturally, we want other people to adopt those thought processes as well. We want other people to believe what we believe. Why? Honestly, I can't really tell you. It's just kind of the way things are. Anyway, after that convoluted intro, let's talk about this topic that I probably shouldn't bother making a video on. One more thing before I begin, don't take what I say in this video as gospel or anything. In the grand scheme of things, this topic matters so little it's hilarious. But basically every corner of Omori has been on mine for video essays, so I gotta stay fresh with my topics in order to make good videos. Anyway, on to the video. So, judging by the title and intro, you most likely already know what the video is about. Basil and Sunny do not have a romantic attachment to each other. I still can't believe I'm making this video. Anyway, some of you might be scratching your heads, and some of you might be jumping up and down in excitement. Well, for the former, I'll go over the two main stages of Sunny and Basil's life, pre-Mari's death and during the events of the game, and analyze whether or not they have some type of romantic attachment. Without further ado, let's begin. Let's start off with Sunny, pre-Mari's death. This one is pretty easy. It's stated that Sunny likes Aubrey, plain and simple. In the flashback, Basil states that he's noticed Sunny's desire to see any photo of Aubrey that he takes for a while, so his attachment to Aubrey is not a new thing. Now, for Basil, pre-Mari's death, there's one line of dialogue that suggests a lack of romantic attachment to Sunny. But first, let me set the stage. Imagine this, right? You have a best friend, and you begin to develop a romantic attachment to them. You don't tell them, and you do a pretty good job of hiding it. But you begin to see signs that your friend actually likes someone else. You begin to analyze their behavior until eventually you ask them about their crush, to which they confirm. What would be your reaction? Maybe a bit of a stutter, maybe a sad and confused tone, maybe a punch in the gut, something like that. You know what wouldn't be your reaction? How Basil reacts to Sunny's crush on Aubrey. He's literally just like, hee hee, I won't tell anyone. He even sounds happy in that situation. And if he did like Sunny, there'd definitely be some hint towards that in his dialogue, but there is not. The game is no stranger to hiding massive lore drops in dialogue simply by adding a bit of a stutter or the way a character says a line of dialogue, and not having one of those included in this reaffirms what I've been saying. Okay, now for Sunny during the events of the game. During the events of the game, he still likes Aubrey. Shocker. I know. In Headspace, he's continuing to idealize Aubrey as totally in love with him, 4 years since he's actually seen her in real life. Whenever Sunny actually does see her in real life, he doesn't say anything, obviously, and then goes back to Headspace. And how does Aubrey treat him in Headspace? The exact same way as before he sees Aubrey for the first time in 4 years. Aubrey's attachment to Omori arguably gets deeper after Sunny sees Aubrey for the first time in 4 years. This continues on until Headspace is no more, and we don't really get to see what Sunny really thinks of Aubrey after the events of Humphrey. But we don't need to. There's no reason for us to think his attraction to Aubrey has changed, because we haven't been shown that or even hinted towards that a single time. There's nothing to suggest that Sunny's attachment to Aubrey has changed. On the contrary, there's more evidence to suggest that he likes Aubrey more rather than he doesn't. But that part of the theory is for later, so stick around. Alright, now, what about Basil? Well, some people might say that Basil's reaction to seeing Sunny and his behavior around him might hint towards him being attracted to Sunny. And well, I think his behavior can be attributed to something else. Maybe the fact that they helped each other stage the suicide of their friend, and they haven't seen each other in 4 years. I would be nervous too if I saw someone for the first time in 4 years, and that someone also happened to know that I killed someone and we staged their death as a suicide together. Taking into account and looking at every single interaction between them, there is no single interaction that implies a romantic attachment between them. Some people might point to the bathroom scene, but to those people I think your perception of their situation is not quite right. These two boys are traumatized majorly. They need people to help them cope with these feelings of suicide, depression, anxiety, all the above. Promising your best friend that you'll be there for them when you need them most is not a romantic statement at all. It's a reaffirmation of friendship and trust, and obviously, breaking that promise is not going to help your friendship with them. Another scene that some people might point to is one of the flashback scenes showing them blacking out all the photos and then holding hands. Obviously, holding hands is seen as a romantic thing, but not if it's two little children doing it. It's the same thing as during the final duet flashbacks when Aubrey introduces Basil to the group. They're holding hands as well and there's nothing romantic between them. Here's a drawing by Omocat showing the same thing. They're 12 years old, they don't know what a romantic relationship means. They're in a time of major trauma and need to comfort each other. They don't know what constitutes as something romantic and something that doesn't. If they were like 16 years old and held hands like that would probably indicate something else, but they aren't. And even if you did say that it was romantic in the fact that they're holding hands, Sunny likes Aubrey anyway. There's no reason for us to assume that he ditched his crush on Aubrey for Basil, because that's not shown. And even if you did want to say that, I think it's highly unlikely that he developed a romantic attachment to Basil just after they staged his sister's manslaughter or suicide, and then immediately decided to ditch Basil for idealized headspace Aubrey. Just because two characters are close doesn't mean they want to get giga freaky with each other. Two characters can be extremely close with each other and not have a romantic relationship, and they'd be just fine with the story, and in some cases it actually works better that way. A good example of this is Frodo and Sam in the Lord of the Rings trilogy, often regarded as the best trilogy of all time. Sam and Frodo are extremely close, and their relationship is that of brotherhood rather than a romantic one. Nowadays, if those movies were made, all the DEI standards in today's movie making would probably demand them to have some kind of romantic attachment, but the story works just fine, if not better, without them having a romantic attachment. If two characters are close, sometimes it's better to not have them in love. When it comes down to it, Sunny and Basil's relationship is simply misinterpreted by some. Some characters are meant to be best friends / companions to other characters, and some characters are meant to be romantic partners to each other. I personally don't think that it makes sense to shoehorn a romantic relationship into their characters when they're clearly designed to be best friends to each other. And it's very clearly shown that there is not a romantic attachment between them. However, there is a character that has significant backing and significant foreshadowing that they are indeed Sunny's partner. Well, that will be none other than Aubrey. Sunny likes Aubrey, and unlike Basil, it's hinted significantly that Aubrey likes Sunny. There are some instances that imply it, so let me go over them all. First, one very consistent thing throughout all the real-world segments is that Aubrey actively treats Sunny more warmly than everyone else. If you take a look at the tag photos in the real world, the Aubrey tagged you photo is the only one where she is not threatening physical harm to anyone. The conversation on the swings, she talks to him extremely caringly. She even says, like, promise me you'll take better care of yourself, okay? That seems very, very warm, and she does not talk like that to anyone else, even Keller Hero. That scene also mirrors that one image during the final duet scene with Aubrey and Sunny on the swings. It seems kind of random for Omocat to include that in the final duet unless it meant something deeper, so that's another thing to think about. Oh yeah, here's a drawing that Omocat did, the early stages of Omori development. You will not find anything like this for Sunny and Basil. Here's another oh yeah. What about these scenes? Why does Aubrey look at Sunny? In the hobbies scene, she looks at him again, he looks at her, and they both swiftly look away. Why do they do this? There is literally no reason for them to do this. There isn't any of these instances for Sunny and Basil. There's literally no reason for them to do this. Other than, you know, maybe a possible romantic attachment, like what I've been saying for this entire video. There are not any instances like this for Sunny and Basil. I think that's very clearly implied that Sunny and Aubrey... Wait a second. That's not Aubrey. Oh wait, actually, you know what? Never mind, it is. Looks like I almost forgot about this teeny tiny detail. Take a quick look-see at this real fast. This is some early concept art for the game a while back. For those of you who do not know, there was originally an option for the player to choose Sunny / Omori's gender between male and female, but it was scrapped due to having too much work need to be changed. And we already know that Sunny is straight. So, with all that in mind, I pose to you a very simple question. Why would Aubrey's gender change alongside Sunny's? It's almost as if Aubrey was designed and heavily hinted at Sunny's love interest. I think you can all infer what this implies. Here's one last big thing to note. Some people may point to the end of the true ending and bring up the possibility of Aubrey and the gang not forgiving Sunny, causing Sunny to turn to Basil and develop a romantic attachment. Even though I think this kinda ignores everything I've brought up in this video so far, I did a separate video on why Sunny should be forgiven, so you can go watch that. I'm sorry to be a shill, but you know, I gotta do what I gotta do. Okay, I'm glad we're done with this video. I don't really know why I decided to make this video. I guess it's just a combination of boredom and what I explained at the beginning of the video. Just a quick reminder that you don't have to change your own personal headcanon, is what I say. After all, my opinion does not matter. I'm just some guy on the internet, you know? Take care, and I'll see y'all in the next one.